Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. We are in lecture 5, Computer Science. Topic now is coding scheme. For this topic, we are actually in still topic 1 computer system, and this is the third subtopic 1.3 information coding scheme. So we have 3 learning outcomes. The first one is you should be able to describe how computers encode characters using 3 coding scheme: ASCII, EBCDIC and Unicode. B, you should be able to calculate the total number of bits and bytes in a given word based on each coding scheme. And C, you should be able to differentiate the coding scheme based on number of bits and total number of characters represented. Okay, before we look at what is coding scheme, let's refresh a little bit about bit and byte. Bit is 0 or 1. Okay, it is the smallest unit of data a computer can process. By being a bit itself, we cannot represent anything yet because bit is, we have just 2 bits. Then we have to combine the bits, 8 bits, to become a byte. Okay, a byte can represent 1 character. For example, a character A is represented by 010000001, right? And there must be other bytes to represent other characters. So to represent all these characters that we are using every day, we must have a standard code, meaning we should all be using the same code. Then only we can communicate, or our computers can communicate with the other computers. So to have that, people have created coding scheme, right? Coding scheme is just a standard which tells the computer which character is represented by which set of bytes. Okay, this is very important because you can imagine what happened is if one country is using other set of codes and another country is using other set of code, then how the devices in between those countries are going to communicate, right? So it's like we are using different languages. So if we use different language, of course we cannot communicate with each other. So the same with computers have to use same set of language. Okay, so the advantage of coding scheme, it enable humans to interact with the digital computer that processes only bits, because when we are using the same standard, then we can create from the code we can create a programming language, programs and so on. And also this coding scheme enables components in computers to communicate with each other successfully, right? Of course, when people created the components of computer like printer, CPU, keyboards, they should have the same circuitry to represent the same codes. So it should be the same. We should use the same coding scheme. So these are 3 popular coding scheme. The first one is called ASCII. The pronunciation is ASCII, American Standard Code for Information Interchange. The second is EBCDIC, Extended Binary Coded Decimal Interchange Code. And the third one is Unicode, okay, Universal Code, or some says there is other abbreviation stands for something else like uniform code or something. So we have to look at what each coding scheme define. Okay, so ASCII coding scheme is defined as 8-bit coding scheme designed to represent English alphabets and some special symbols. What we mean by 8-bit coding scheme is that it uses 8 bits to represent 1 character, right? It uses 8 bits to represent 1 character, meaning we combine 8 bits as a unit and we represent something with that. So when we use 8 bits, we will have 2 to the power of 8 different combinations of the bits. Okay, imagine that you will have the first combination is going to be 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0, and the last one is going to be all ones, 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1. So from 0 0 0 0 to 1 1 1 1, we are going to have 256 different combinations. So since we have 256 different combinations, of course we are going to represent ASCII is going to represent 256 different characters. All right, so that is what it means by it can represent 256 different characters. Now we can also talk about values, which of ASCII values. Okay, sometimes you heard people say ASCII values. So what is ASCII values? ASCII values means the decimal values for the ASCII codes. Okay, so if you are asked what are the range of the values, it ranges from 0 to 255. Why? Because the first code just now, 0000, if we convert it to decimal, it's going to be 0, right? And the last code, 1111, 1111 is, if we convert to decimal, the value is 255 in decimal. So the values of ASCII values are range from 0 to 255. Okay, and one more thing about ASCII coding scheme is it is used on all types of computers and operating system. So this is what I was talking just now. This is an example of ASCII table. If you try to find ASCII table in Google, most of the time you are going to find ASCII from 0 0 to 127. Why? Because the first ASCII designed, the first ASCII is designed as 7-bit code only. Okay, if you see here, the last one is 1111 111. Okay, so that's why it has 127 only. Okay, but then later it is extended to 8-bit ASCII. Now people are using 8-bit ASCII, so the real table are going to be from decimal 0 to decimal 255. Okay, because 0 to 55 is 256 different combinations of these binary codings. Okay, so it starts with 0, the value, decimal 0, and binary is 0000 or short as 0 only. And the last one, if it is ASCII 7, is going to 127 and 11111. But for ASCII now, 8-bit ASCII is going to be 256, and we have 8 bits here, 8 ones. All right. Okay, there's a little more about ASCII. It was originally designed as 7-bit code, I was saying just now. Then it was extended to 8-bit code called extended ASCII. But nowadays people just call it ASCII. And it is the most widely used coding scheme, and it is sufficient for English and Western European languages only, but it is not large enough for Asian and other languages that use different alphabets. Alright, what this means is ASCII is originally designed for languages which use ABC only, right? ABC till Z, okay, and other characters. ABC small letter case, ABC upper letter case, digits and symbols are things that can be represented by ASCII. Meaning, if we have languages like Japanese language or Korean or Chinese or Tamil, right? So those languages use different alphabets, not ABC, meaning ASCII cannot represent those languages. Yeah, so that's the limitation of ASCII. So second coding scheme is ABCDIC. It is defined as 8-bit coding scheme designed to represent English alphabets and some special symbols. This definition is the same as ASCII just now. So that's not much different. The difference is here, it is originally designed by IBM, a big company in computer, to be used on IBM mainframe computers only and high-end servers only. So that's ABCDIC, right? So the difference with the ABCDIC and ASCII is just where it is used. Right? But other things are same because it uses 8 bits to represent one character. It can represent 256 different combinations, different characters. Okay, 2 to the power of 8, and the values ranges from 0 to 255. Okay, now the third one, Unicode coding scheme, okay, which mostly used now in devices, in computers and devices, is defined as 16-bit coding scheme that has the capacity to represent all the world's current languages. Okay, or some other definition said most of the world's current languages. And 16-bit coding scheme means it uses 16 bits to represent one character. So when it uses 16 bits to represent one character, of course, it can make more combinations of the codes, right? Because you can imagine we have 16 bits. The first combination is going to be all zeros, 16 zeros, and the last combination is going to be 16 ones. Okay, so all together is going to be 2 to the power of 16. 2 to the power of 16 different combinations, and that sum up to 65,536 different combination, which can represent that much different characters. Okay, so it's about enough to represent all languages, any languages that exist in the world, right? So the values, of course, ranges from 0 to less one than the combination, from 0 to 65,535. Okay, and it is also can be used and also used on all types of computers and operating systems. So that makes Unicode now the most popular coding scheme, is quickly replacing ASCII as the primary coding system. I think you understand why. Existing ASCII coding scheme is fully compatible with Unicode because the first 256 codes are the same. That's why it's not difficult. Again, maybe all devices that use ASCII coding scheme is easily integrated with Unicode coding scheme because the first 256 codes are the same, so it can match. Now, all right. So this table is to differentiate the coding schemes. If you are asked to differentiate coding schemes, usually you have to differentiate by the number of bits used to represent character. Okay, ASCII use 8-bit, ABCDIC use 8 bits, and Unicode uses 16 bits. And you have to give full sentence like this. And the second aspect to differentiate the coding scheme should be the total number of characters represented, like we have seen just now, 256, 256, and 65,536. And the context of use in terms of where it is used. ASCII and Unicode are used on all types of computers and operating system, but ABCDIC is used on IBM mainframes only.